This is my brother's music. My brother is like,
Ooh.
yeah. My brother is like Ty. He's like a musical genius. Yeah. This one's called Soul in My Pocket. What is this? Uh-oh. Oh, well. X blocked me. That's all right. Continue without X. Okay, we can do that. Fuckers. All right, I'm going to tag you. Here we go. Okay, we're live. All right, here we go, man.
Hey, everyone.
Fashionably late.
Totally.
Oh, no. All right, let's see here. Boom. There it is, Cosmic Gateway. Alisha Brache. That's French for... I don't know what it's for.
I don't think it translates. We can make it up.
Okay, so we're good there. Boom.
Oh, I can tell you something interesting about my ancestry if you want.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, we're live and cooking. X blocked us, but that's okay. We got the two Facebook pages. God, we should next time, beginning next time, we should do. I'll add yours to it, and we should put Cosmic Gateway, and even your page if you want to, and even your YouTube if you want to. I can do up to 10 different platforms, right? So, in the future, yeah.
Let's do it.
So tell me about your lineage. What the hell? I mean, what the fuck is going on, you know?
Well, I mean, I can tell you, but I think everyone's tuned in because they want to hear your story, Todd. I want to hear your story.
Well, I just heard that you said you're moving on May 28th, and do you realize, well, at least over here, it's March 28th. So that's 60 days. All these fucking synchronicities are fucking blowing my goddamn mind. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's freaking crazy. I mean, wild crazy. Yeah. As crazy as, when they wouldn't let me on the plane and I had to go stay in this sex hotel. I had to go stay in this sex hotel. I didn't have any money, and the taxi stand guy at the airport, because I'm sitting outside and looking at my phone, my cheap Mexican phone. I can't get signal. So I'm trying to get on the airport Wi-Fi. And he kept walking up, sir, do you need a taxi? I'm like, no, not yet. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been there since 7 o'clock the night before. I haven't slept, and I'm trying to get on this plane at 6 in the morning. They tell me, you can't get on because you don't have a passport. And I said, yeah, I know. But you're the motherfuckers that flew me down here. Y'all flew me down here with just my ID. And they said, well, we changed our policy 6 months ago. I'm like, okay. And then I heard, hey, this is your fucking gig, man. You don't freak out. It's going to work out. Even if you have to walk all the way back. And that's a quote from my soul. I'm like, no, man, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, you'll do what you have to do. And I'm like, okay. So he came back 2 or 3 times. And then I finally figured out, okay, what had happened was there's a Ghetto Airlines, the only other option I had, that opened at 8 a.m. and they had a policy where I could just give them my American driver's license and I can fly. The problem was they didn't have a flight till the next day at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So, and I've got limited funds, right? So I'm sitting out there chain smoking. And this guy walks up to me and he says, do you need a taxi now? I said, no, man, I need a fucking hotel. Now, what I did have was I had the ability to electronically secure a room through my PayPal, which I had just enough money to do. But these hotels were right around the proximity of the airport in Puerto Vallarta. And they were like 175 American. I think I had $202. So he says, "Hey man, there's a place over here. It's called the Blue Hotel." And I got blue orbs on the bus. I got blue orbs while I'm sleeping. I got blue orbs at the beach. I'm like, okay, they just cut me off on. They just cut me off on everything. How weird is that? Okay, so now we're only on YouTube, so Facebook has now cut us off. We're only streaming on YouTube. Tell me there's no secret space program. Tell me there's no bullshit. Come on now. Okay. All right. So he says there's this place called the Blue Hotel, and I could see it across the highway with a bunch of other hotels. It was smaller. It was like 2 stories, 3 stories. And he says, I said, well, how much is it? And you know, I did have some pesos on me. I had like a couple of thousand pesos, which is like $100, you know, $120, something like that. And so he says to me, I stayed there a couple of weeks ago. And he said, I said, well, how much is it? And he says, well, they charge 500 pesos for every 8 hours. And I said, well, what the hell was that? What do you mean 8 hours? I mean, is it like a sex hotel? Did you go on a date over there? He said, well, kind of. So I said, okay. I said, well, would they let me pay for 24 hours? Because it was, by that time, it was what, 9 in the morning? Yeah, I needed 24 hours because my flight was about, whatever, 9:30 or whatever. Well, they let me pay it up front. So he gets a lady on the phone, calls and says, there's this Americano here and he wants to pay for 24 hours. And she's like, yeah, send him over. So, and I said to him, oh, you know, okay, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And he hooked me up with a cab driver, one of his cab drivers, and they totally raped me. He's like, well, it is going to be like, you know, a ridiculous amount, like $20 to drive across the highway, $20 American, which is like 500 pesos, 400 pesos. So I go over there and I'm in this taxi, and he told the guy to take care of me and told him the directions that I wanted to pay the 24 hours because I said, look, I just want to go in there and go to sleep. So I leave the airport with his homeboy, and we pull up to the Hotel Blue, and all you can see is blue, like blue electric neon lining the hotel, structure. And we pull up to this, you know, when you go into a place and they have like the thing, like a railroad crossing, you know, the little thing that you got to like plug in and then it goes like that. And I look on the kiosk thing, the little screen, and it says $4.95 for 8 hours in Spanish, and it says X number of dollars for a table dance. And it says like 4 or 5 other things that I didn't even read at that point. I thought, oh, fuck, man. Okay, well, I'm already in. So, you know, I'm done, you know. So he gets out of the cab and he goes and takes care of the lady. And he says, well, she wants to talk to you. So I go to this little booth, and it's one of those mirrors where you can't see in, but they can see you. And she's talking to me in Spanish, and I can speak Spanish, and I can understand it. I mean, I can speak it like, you know, okay. And I can understand it pretty well, but there's different dialects, right? You know, like country and, you know, like how it is. Like, what do you call it over there? Like, you know, where they're like Crocodile Dundee compared to someone that speaks. Okay. So she's speaking like this. She's speaking like this ghetto, and I don't mean that in a bad way because I'm as ghetto as anybody. And she's speaking, and she's telling me. So I just finally just hand her my card. Like, I'm just like crossing my fingers because I know it's going to be close. So what happened was, instead of charging me basically 500 pesos per 8 hours, right? 3 times. She charges me. I'm just make it. And so I'm like, okay, well, where's the key? She goes, no, you don't need a key. You just go upstairs. Go to room 72. 72. Go to room 72, 9, 9, 11. I keep seeing these 9s and 11s. And you just walk in. So I go upstairs on the second floor. I got to pull my shit all up there. Like I got this heavy ass like thing with my Starlink in it. This giant suitcase I bought on the Avenida in La Piñita. I love you, La Piñita. Thank you for taking care of me. And so I walk up the thing, and so I get there, and the door's wide open, and there's these cleaning ladies in the hallway. And I walk up to the door, and I said, so do I get a key? And oh, no keys. I'm like, no keys? She's like, no keys. What? I'm like, okay. Now, as I walk up to the door on the left side, they had this thing I've only seen in jail. Which is, when you're in this individual cell, they have like this lazy Susan, right? It's this lazy Susan, and it's like if you open it up on the outside, you put whatever you want in there, and then you turn it, and it closes on the outside, and on the inside you pick it up and take your shit like an animal. So I walk up and I see that, and I said, well, I want to go, I want to go in my room. She said, well, yeah, no problem. I said, well, can I lock it? Well, it had one of those little locks that you have, like the little thing on the handle, but there was no keys or anything. I mean, it was so flimsy, somebody could just broke it down, But I didn't worry about it because I knew the fucking universe was with me. I fucking knew it, man. I'm like, oh, goddamn. And I'm tired. I haven't slept. Since the previous night. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I got to the airport at 9 p.m., stayed all night so I could get on my flight, and I was turned down. So I go in, and I sat there on the bed. I took all my clothes off. Oh, my God, this place was so fucking clean. Yes. Like, it was so clean you could eat off the floor. However, the ashtrays, the table, and everything was glued down so nobody could take it. So I'm like, I'm in another fucking universe, man. And so I sat down, I took all my clothes off, and because I was so like disgusting and shit. And I lay on the bed and I look to my right, and there's this glass, like rectangle on the wall, looking into a shower where you could watch somebody take a shower. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I look on the nightstand, and there's this trifold brochure that has like, if you want a dildo or any kind of sexual like lubrication, or like it had like a menu like a fucking restaurant. And I'm like, holy fuck, what did I get myself into? So I was like, you know what, man? Fuck this. I'm tired. I had a bottle of water. I drank the water. I went into that shower. I turned on the water, and they had like this, a regular normal thing that came out of the wall, that like a normal shower. But when I turned it on, the water came from above my head from the ceiling and started drenching me. And I look up, I'm like, oh, well, this is some sexy shit, but nobody's here or whatever, right? So I rinsed off, and I just went and laid in bed. It took me a couple of hours, because I'm not going to lie about it. I gave up my weed that I got from the cartel in La Piñita to my friend, and I rolled one joint, and I smoked it, and it's really good shit, because they got to know me after a while, and they gave me the good stuff. And so I took like 4 hits, and I'm laying in bed going, oh my God, I need to go to sleep, but I can't because my mind, I mean, like it was like a buzz. And then I fell asleep at 12. I got up at 6 in the evening. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm hungry. I'm fucking hungry. I need some water. You know, like I'm in this blue hotel. I'm in Puerto Vallarta in the industrial district across from the airport. And I look over on this table that's glued down to the floor and you can't move it. And there's this book on the table. There's a book on the table, and it says like guest services and room service. I'm like, room service in this place, man? I mean, okay, I'll consider it because I'm fucking starving. And so I open it, and it says, we will deliver whatever you want in 20 minutes. We have a kitchen. Everything is cooked. Everything is cooked fresh. Now, one thing about being in Mexico is that I learned, which is a beautiful thing, is it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if they have a window on their home or a door. These people are clean. They're cleaner. And if you go down there, and a lot of Westerns would say to me, oh, it's so trashy. Yeah, look, right outside my door, right outside my balcony, they would have a market every Thursday. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, they would wake me up because like tick, 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 and they're putting up these tents, and they're like, I mean, this thing is like 4 streets over to the plaza, and it's huge. And at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, I would hear them taking it down. And then at 5 in the afternoon, you know, I'm doing shows. I look out the window, and I'd see all this trash. 4 hours later, I'd see 3 or 4 dudes out there cleaning this shit up, man. People coming out of their homes and their businesses with brooms and mops and, well, brooms and sweeping everything up and trash bags and spraying down the street and the sidewalk. By the next morning, it was spotless, right? So it's the same kind of energy. So anyway, you know, I lost track. But I mean, so I'm at 6 o'clock in the evening. I've got 12 hours before my flight that I still don't know if I'm gonna get on, you know, because maybe the Mexican police and military is gonna stop me. And so I'm thinking, you know, whatever. So I look at the menu and everything. I'm like, man, I want a fucking hamburger. I haven't had a hamburger in fucking ages. And I ordered a hamburger with French fries, a coffee, a pack of cigarettes, some cookies, some toothpaste, a toothbrush, and something else. I don't remember. 20 minutes later, and I'm laying in bed because I'm exhausted. I'm like fucking just exhausted. I'm like, you're right. And so I'm laying in bed, and I hear this noise going on out my door. Because I'm kind of alert. Because I'm, you know, I spent some time on the street. You know, I'm in a sex hotel with this trifold brochure next to me with all these dildo pictures and stuff. And and so at 6 o'clock, it's early because I know it's going to get loud later. So,
right.
Less than 20 minutes later, I hear this noise outside my window. I mean, my door. So I put my shorts on and I put a shirt on and I walk over to the door and I open the door and I step out, you know, with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I look and there's this cute little Mexican lady that's standing there looking at me like I'm crazy. And I said, and I realized she's put all the stuff, which I can't see, into this Lazy Susan thing. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
And I said in Spanish, well, how do I pay? And she points to the to the Lazy Susan, like, you're supposed to not come out. We're not supposed to see you. You're just supposed to accept the food, put your card or your cash, and then we'll take care of it and send it back to you. So it was a very, very, like, tight system. There was no bullshit. It was, like, crazy, like, you know, intricate, right? So I said to her, give me the bill. And it was like 620 pesos, and I gave her 700 pesos. And she just smiled and she took off and laughed at me. So I go inside and I put it down on this table that's glued to the floor that you can't move, like a little coffee table. And I sit on this couch that's glued to the floor that you can't move because. And so I sit down, and the coffee is one of those little things of, like where they'll have like the sugar, like the long skinny things, It's like the instant coffee and the instant cream and all that. So, in the bottles of water, I had to order 2 bottles of water, and so I sat down and I look at this hamburger, and it's just like steaming, and the French fries are steaming. So I'm cutting up the mustard and the mayonnaise and the ketchup, and I'm squirting it everywhere. And I eat that shit, and I drink the coffee, and I eat the cookies. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in fucking 5D, man. Like it makes no sense. At that time, and I have the curtains open on the window, and all of a sudden, these blue lights start coming into the into the room. It was some kind of light they had out in the parking lot that was blue. So I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck's going on? So I go to the 2 light switches that are like in that part of the room where the bed is, and I flip them, and they both are blue. And they turn on like the sexy blue I guess for lovemaking. I don't know what the fuck. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? So I smoked the rest of the pot I had, smoked a couple of cigarettes, and I went to bed. And, it was just weird, but it was so cool. And I got up the next morning. I put the water on cold in that crazy shower that came down from the ceiling, which was really cool. If I ever get a house, if I ever have a house, I want to have one of those, because it was like this giant, implement that like covered like from shoulder to shoulder. It was so cool. And took this shower, woke my ass up, ran to the airport, got on the plane, and then I started posting. Because when I got on the plane, my soul said, "Take it, look at yourself." And I see all these blue lights behind me. I'm like, oh my God, what is it with the blue lights? And I'm still not, I'm still like, okay, I got to go to Mexico City. I've got to transfer planes, and I'm not really caught up in that because I'm really, as my friend Hung says, I'm really, okay with whatever the fuck happens. I am, because I'm soul, and so I go into Mexico City, and I have to change planes, and a cop stops me and tells me, what are you doing in Spanish? And I'm like, hablo español un poco. And he's like, that tells him like I speak Spanish, but not very much. And he says, okay, what are you doing here? And and this and that. And I said, well, I came to do this. I won't get into specifics, and it didn't work out. And, now I'm leaving. And my mother's, I didn't want to lie, just white lies. And I said my mother had, open heart surgery, which was like 2 years ago. And I said, I need to get home.
As my mum said, it's always where you put the comma.
So I get on the next plane, and I go to Nuevo Laredo, which is right on the border of the Mexican side, because I can't cross the border in airspace because I don't have a passport. And so I get to Nuevo Laredo, and they had 3 options. Either you can have a taxi take you to the border and you can walk across, or some other option, which was basically the same. Or you can pay, which I had like $110. You can pay $100 American, and you can take a taxi from here to the airport on the other side. And so that's what I chose. And so finally, after, they said, this is Mexico, and I love this, right? He's like, oh, they'll be here in 10 minutes. For an hour and 10 minutes later, the guy pulls up. Oh, lo siento, lo siento, lo siento means I'm sorry, right? And he says, but yeah, can you get your documents out and have them in the back seat? My driver's license, my birth certificate, whatever. And we'll go. So we go, and there's a line and everything, and we get to the border. Now, I'm really cool with the whole thing. I'm fine because I don't care at this point. You know, if they want to take me home, take me home. I've asked them to. They said, no, motherfucker, you're not leaving. You've got more shit to do. so, so I get there, and this young guy, this young Border Patrol dude, because the guy tells me, roll down your window, because I'm on the passenger side back seat, and, you know, the guy's on the left. And he said, roll down your window. He's going to want to talk to you. So I roll down the window, and I have my driver's license, birth certificate in my hand. And the guy says, he takes it, and he goes, Mr. Medina, how long have you been in Mexico? And I said, well, about 20 days. I did lie. Why did you come here? I said, I came here to see somebody. He said, oh, okay. He said, do you have any, you know, drugs, weapons, and all that stuff? And then, you know, and then he told the cab driver, open the trunk. I want to look at his stuff, right? And so I had this giant suitcase that I bought in La Piñita that I was able to fit my Starlink into and all my equipment. And then this other duffel bag, small duffel bag that had what few clothes I have in it. And so he ran my stuff, which was, you know, another consideration. He ran it. He came back and he handed me my stuff, and I was gone, you know. And I crossed. Wow. And it wasn't like a huge, you know, relief or anything. It was just like, you know what? This is all a fucking illusion. You know, my thoughts could have created a different experience based on, you know what I mean? So this isn't just about the human, it's nothing about the human experience. Nothing. It is about the secret space frequencies. It is soul frequency. It is energetic frequencies. It's none of this fucking bullshit, superficial worry, stress, and strife. It's none of this fucking bullshit chaos, you know, perceptions. It's none of that. And it hit me so hard, so fucking hard. And I told the guy to take me to the Laredo airport. Now, by this time, because it's taken so long, Laredo airport on the American side is very small, like extremely small. Like it's as big as this room. So I knew I wasn't flying out that night. And my plan was, because by now it's 8 o'clock at night, you know, my plan was to spend the night at the airport. But this airport's so small, they close at midnight. So I went to the counter and I told the guy, you know, I've got a ticket. I had bought the ticket. But it was for Saturday, and this was Thursday. No, this was, Thursday. And I said to the guy, man, I got to get home. You know, my mother had open heart, even though that was 2 years ago. I said, let me do you a favor. Let me do you a solid. I can get you on a plane tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh. And you just have to be here at 4:30 in the morning. And I'm like, well, can I sleep at the airport? He's like, no. You can't. You can't even sleep outside. They won't let you. They'll arrest you. I'm like, okay, great. So I found this this hotel for $57. And I'm like, I've already been to the Blue Hotel, the Sex Hotel. So whatever the fuck this one is. So I go to this place. He drops me off. I get in room 222. I'm in room 222. I get in there and I'm like almost distraught in the sense of my physical depletion. Not mental, not emotional, not spiritual. I'm on it. I'm fucking done. Take me if you want to. If you want me to serve, I'm fucking here and you fucking know it. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the fucking stories and the superficial worries and strife that myself or anyone else goes through. I cannot engage in that bullshit. We're fucking growing up. So that's really how I felt. I put my shit in the thing. I have a phone that's a cheap Mexican phone, and I say that with all respect. As soon as I cross the border, it doesn't work. So if I don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have a fucking phone. So I get the Wi-Fi on the hotel, and I'm able to, and I fuck it. It was taking too long. The reception wasn't good, and I just said, fuck it. I'm gonna go walk. It's like 9 o'clock, 9:30, and I'm walking into this area, and I see this sign, La Paquena Grill. I just came out of Mexico. I'm gonna go eat Mexican food. So I walk all this way because Laredo is a lot like Mexico anyway. South Texas is like Mexico. Most people speak Spanish. So I walk into this place, which I found out later because the lady that I sat next to when I flew out the next morning used to work there, and she's in hospitality with Marriott and on West Palm Beach, Florida, and synchronicities, right? So I go over there, I sit at the bar, and I decided I was going to feast because I fucking made it. I made something happen, and it wasn't the story, it was the energy, it was the
Mm.
what's happening, it was a transformation. So I had soup, and I had the entree, and I had a double whiskey, and I had 2 beers, and I fucking loved it, man. I gave a nice tip, and then I realized, you dumbass, you just spent $76 and you only got $81 left on that card. You got $5 left now. I'm like, fuck it. So, but anyway, I made it. I made it to because I had prearranged and paid the Uber. So the next morning I got up 3:30, go to the airport, catch the flight. I'm at the airport at 4:15. I check in. Everything's cool. I'm tired as fuck. I slept like an hour and a half, and so you had to go up these stairs to get into security. And in America right now, what's happened is because there's some kind of impasse with the funding for what do they call it? The people that check your stuff at the airport, right? I forget what they're called. Um, so a lot of them have quit and gone home because they haven't been paid for weeks. So Trump sent in the ICE guys, right? The immigration guys. Now I'm on the border too, so it's even like double, presence. So I go through the security, and it was no problem. I see 3 or 4 people get nabbed. I grab my stuff, and I walk to the. There wasn't any ICE agents. It was the regular security people, the ones that have been going home because they're not getting paid. So I came out of that, got my bags, and I'm standing behind 4 or 5 family members, like regular family people, like mother, father, kids, and sorry. And so the woman starts freaking. There's 2 ICE agents in front of him. One black dude, big guy, and one Mexican dude, kind of a stocky dude. And so the woman starts crying, like, Mio, just, and then they're like freaking out. And they were Mexican coming into the U.S., and one of them didn't have their docs or something. I don't know. So the Mexican guy is handling them, and the black guy looks at me and goes, "Are you an American citizen?" I said, "Yes." And I had my shit ready. I had my boarding pass and my ID in my hand. He goes, "Oh, you can come through." He didn't check it or nothing. And I walked through, and I thought,
What?
I know, and I'm tired. I know, I'm tired. I haven't slept. This is now Friday morning at 5:30 in the morning. I haven't slept Tuesday night, Wednesday night. I'm sorry. This would be Thursday morning. So I didn't sleep Tuesday night. I didn't sleep Wednesday night. Okay, really didn't sleep. I mean, like maybe 2.5, 3 hours total. So I come out of beyond him because I thought he was going to say, "Hey, like, give me your ID," So he just says, "Are you American citizen?" All I said was yes, and he just, come on through. So I walked through. I set my bags down, and it was my soul. My soul just goes, "What the fuck is this bullshit? What the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck what is going on?" I turn back. I see this lady crying. I see her daughters, like, like, Madam, Mamita, we have this stuff. We'll find it in one of these bags, whatever. I don't know. So anyway, if I get on that plane, I sit next to this lady from that town who's now living in West Palm Beach. We talk the whole time, whatever. And I get to Dallas. And I spent a lot of time in Dallas Fort Worth Airport because it's a huge airport. Because I had offices there for many years, like, consecutively, like, I don't know, 10 years maybe. And I grew up there in my high school years. So, I sat there and it was like 3 hours, and it was surreal because I saw two people that I went to high school with that were working for American Airlines, right? Behind the counter. Yeah, I'm like, one of them recognized me, and the other one, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Life Review and Forum, right? So then eventually I get to Houston, and that's another thing, right? It's just like ICE people everywhere. Like, what the hell? Like 9/11. It was like 9/11, after 9/11. And so my mom insisted, I'm going to come pick you up. My mom's going to be 87 years old in the summer. She's going to come pick me up. I'm like, Mom, don't worry about it. I got enough money on my card. I can catch an Uber. Boom. I'm there. No, I'm coming to get you. So my flight came in at 11:30, and I told her, just pick me up at 12. Just don't worry about it. Just, I'll wait. So I'm there at 12. I'm there like 11:40. 12 comes, 12:15, 12:30, 12:45, 1 o'clock. So I have no capability of communicating because I have this Mexican phone that the internet no longer works. So I have to go into the airport, which means I have to leave the place where they pick you up to go connect to her. She's 87, driving down the road. I don't want to interfere with that, So I go into the airport. I get the signal. I send her a note, are you okay? She writes back, I'm really close. Now, this is 1 o'clock. I'm really close. Hang on. I put, okay, just be safe. I walk outside. 45 minutes later, she pulls up. And I'm cool as a cucumber because I know something's okay, but my human's going, I hope to God this story doesn't end that she had an accident. Because right before I came and we talked, in the conversation, because I was paying her car insurance until I couldn't pay it anymore in Mexico, right? Because I'm on the title too, right? And she had bought a car right before this car, which I kind of helped her buy, right, before I left for Mexico, and she bought this car. My mother bought a car. My mother bought a red 2-door convertible BMW hot rod. Had it $18,000. No, she's going to kill me. Had this car for less than a month. Ran into a pole and totaled it and lost everything because she didn't have comp and collision. So after that happened, I said, look, I'll help you get this car, but you're going to let me take care of the insurance. And I took care of it as long as I could, like maybe 6 months or whatever, and she took it over. So when I talked to her before this all happened, like a couple of days before, I'm like, coming tomorrow. I was in the Blue Hotel, and I was talking to her. She said, oh, I got this deal on my car insurance, and it's only $100 a month. When it was like $350. I'm like, no way. Do you have comp and collision? Right? Because the basic is just general liability, and doesn't help you if you fuck up and it's your fault. right? It just protects the other people. So she said, I don't know. Well, that told me right away. So I'm thinking, oh my God, here I am coming home. I need to be okay with whatever happens. The path of fate. Thank you, Hung. Right? The path of peace. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can just feel this story coming in now because I'm tired and I'm in my mind. I'm not in my heart. And I'm thinking, oh my God, she had a wreck. She doesn't have any insurance to cover her if it's her fault. But anyway, she pulled up and I got in and then got here yesterday and then just tried to sleep and it was crazy. But my impression was there was a tremendous amount of energy. I don't know about the planet alignments. I don't know about all that stuff, but I know there's some of that's prevalent and some of that's being shared because I picked up a little bit when I went on Facebook to share some memes. And but there is a massive transformational wave that's occurring like no other that's ever happened. And I don't mean that just to be regulated to the earth. This is a multiversal, universal kind of thing. And, I don't mind saying yours truly is on the front edge of this thing because that's just the way I'm built, And I don't recommend that for anybody. But there is a huge thing happening here. And I would just conclude all of this crazy ass story with that this is not the time, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, this is not the fucking time to substantiate your existence, to rationalize your existence, to explain what you think is going on. This is the time to open yourself up, myself up, and eat some humble pie and to let go of the control. Let it fucking go. Let it fucking go because it's got to go. Okay? If you want to grow, preferentially in this lifetime rather than the next one. Because this lifetime is not just a normal one. This is a summary life of not just the human incarnations, but beyond that. And so let it go. Eat the humble pie. Open it up. If you're going to express anything, express that I don't know shit, and that's what I'm doing now, right? But the universal energy is meeting me and us. And tomorrow I'll walk into a place that's about 300 square feet and I'll build an on-site studio, a real podcast music production studio. And the universe will meet me there and provide the resources that I will build it with. And that's just one example of all of us, right? And I know this is going to happen before it happens, but in order for us to receive that which we are not entitled to, but that which we create and draw to ourselves, it does require, and I don't mind saying this is not like my opinion. It requires the deepest humility and integrity. Cut the fucking shit. Cut the judgment. Cut the sarcasm. Cut the hierarchical kind of dialogue in your head. And understand that everyone is you. Everything is you. And this is not some fucking new age bullshit. This is not. It's the real thing. And what I'm gaining from this, or what I'm getting from this so far, is that it's these, what we would call artistic expressions, creative expressions, where there's no account, there's no consideration for how many views I get, how many subscribers I got, how many likes I get. It's not about that. It's about put it out there. Put it out there and don't look back. And, I'll tell you, and I said this to you before, I think last time we talked or the time before, it's like walking the plank. You're walking this plank, and instead of jumping off the plank into an ocean, you're walking off into a void. And this is where your greatest loves are. This is where your twin is. This is where all of your soul family is, your soul monad. This is where everything falls into place like Tetris. Like click, 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 click. But in order for it to happen, the grass can't grow under your feet and you move forward. So, at this point, they could take me out at any time per se, but I'm balls out, motherfucker. I'm balls out. And, on May the 20th, I'm going to hit the mountains of America. I'm not allowed to have a passport. This is the Matrix speaking, or the illusion speaking. I have no fucking fear, and I don't mean that as a cocky or overconfident. I mean this. I'm in all the way, and I trust. And so I know I will travel again in this physical incarnation every fucking corner of this world, which I've done before. But this time, it's going to be the grid work of the highest extent. And I just know, the only thing I know, and I will conclude, is to take one step at a time and to cut the bullshit, cut the externalization, cut the fucking stories, get off the goddamn pity pot. Every fucking one of us. I don't give a fuck who you are. We've all had our misery, our suffering and pain. It's fucking over, and it will only sustain itself and perpetuate itself if you or I continue to do that. And that will only be within the sphere of your own existence. And anyone that will engage you with that bullshit, if they take it. But if we stay, and I intend to, stay on this path, and thank you, Hung. She calls it the path of fate. I call it the path of peace. I'm okay with whatever happens, because the things that I don't understand prove out that it was the best thing for me. But if I look back at anything that's happened and I say, oh, well, that's the way it should have been, and, I'm going to make an absolute that that's how it should have been, I'm going to get hit on the head with a universal 2x4 because there's something I'm missing, because I think I fucking know everything. It's time to understand, for us to take our position, which is, in straight up direct terms, we're the low consciousness on the universal totem pole on the earth. The plants have been waiting, the plant kingdom, the ocean kingdom, the elementals, the angelic, the galactic, all of them have been waiting for us to step into our power. They're not more powerful than us. These E.T. and other narratives and all these stories, fuck that shit. Thank you for bringing me to the party, but what gets us to the next level isn't what brought us to this point. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of not crazy, but there's a very diverse set of multiple streams that are playing out here, and we can find what we want to substantiate our existence and rationalize our behavior and our patterns and our past and our present and all that. This requires total naked, total bearing of the soul. And that is embodiment. And that is where you can step forward and say, take me out if you want to. Take me out. Not cocky, but just, I'm ready to die in the physicality. I'm ready to go against the grain. I haven't paid taxes since 1999 in America. And that was the first 4 or 5 years on a corporate salary over $100,000. I'm not going to recognize these fucking borders that I had to cross. I'm not going to recognize passports. Fuck you. I don't need car insurance. Fuck you. And I say that from the highest relevance. Relevance, I'm sorry.
Mm.
I say that with the utmost respect of the matrix that has been the antagonist, if you want to put it in those terms. I'm liberated. I am fucking liberated. And I could walk out here tomorrow and tonight and an anvil will drop on my head like one of those old Disney cartoons, you know? But it's game time now. It's time to stop fucking around, stop licking our wounds, get off the pity pot, stop making stories, own your shit, and declare it, speak it. Speak it. Speak it to those who you need to. Speak it to yourself most of all. You know, enough of this shit. This is it. And anyway, last thing, getting back to this period, we got about another week to 10 days. I don't understand it all. But I do know this. It's a hell of an opportunity. And it doesn't come around much. We've had them, but this one is like the cycle of cycles. It's like multidimensional. It's like taking everything we've had, but I cannot bullshit myself anymore. To serve myself equally, you and the collective equally in every thought, because the words and the actions will come from there. We've tried to appraise everything based on the words we speak and the actions we take. Fuck that. Because the universe hears your thoughts and you hear your thoughts. That's where it's at. You cannot hide. And that will come out for everyone. And that's the truth. So how the fuck did this happen? How long have we been on? Have we been on 51 minutes? Okay, well, now the rest is up to you. So thank you for letting me share that. I had no idea that was going to happen, but I do not take back one word. And I would just say to everybody, cut the fucking bullshit. You know, get raw, get naked, and the universe will meet you there. At this point, more than ever, you know, it really will. And look, Facebook kicked us off of 2 platforms, and X kicked us off, so we must be onto something. Thank you, YouTube. Peace.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. I have to take a break in a second before we dive into the next round.
Go ahead.
But
Go ahead.
I didn't even know how to follow that up. I'm so glad that you shared all of that with us, though. What a profound journey you've been on in the last couple of days, and that's just the beginning stages of where you're building and moving towards. And I think it's highly inspirational, not just your words, but your actions, and being able to do that and then follow your soul. That's where we're at. But you mentioned in the next coming days, I got some intel yesterday, and I was told the next 14 days, and I can go into detail around whatever you want me to share. But I'm so glad that we're here. You're here. You're in the US. You made it. Music awaits you. Creation awaits you. And I echo what you said, Todd. I feel like we're at a point right now that the responsibility of those of us who know that we are creator beings have to be in our creation to steer this ship. Because otherwise, if we carry on with all the narratives and all the craziness, we're just perpetuating more of looping of where we've been. And we're on that tipping, we are literally on that precipice of tipping point. I love that that experience that you shared when you were at the airport and you were in a different reality to those around you. And that's what I'm talking about. We have the opportunity to actually live in the embodiment of 5D, or whatever you want to call it, new reality, and coexist with those who aren't yet, but we can steer this ship, because enough of us holding that frequency perpetuates and more of that energetic to ripple. And the more you're moving through the airports and through Mexico, and you're just, by your embodiment, you're kind of sharing it. That's what I was seeing. And all the blue, Todd, the blue. Yeah, there's a lot around the blue. The 2013, when I felt like we were at that precipice, I got told I had to go up north, which I've just come back from a trip. But this trip I did in 2023, I drove, which I'll be doing again in a few, well, in less than 2 months now, getting prepared to make that journey up. And I was told that you've got to rally the troops and you've got to connect with the blue people, the people who have blue frequency. The people who have blue frequency are the broadcasters, the singers, the writers, the poets, the musicians, the podcasters. They're broadcasters of frequency. And as they band together, they create a ripple effect in the harmonics of this planet that is shifting very quickly. So when you're talking about all your blue orbs in your blue hotel, um, it's an encoding. It's a soul mat encoding part of that. So,
Do you need to take a break? Did you say?
yeah, I do.
Go
Can I?
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Take a
Two
break.
seconds.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I just
Let
didn't. I
me.
didn't want you to. Yeah, to force yourself to
Yeah,
go. Yeah,
I'll be back. 2 seconds.
yeah. So too, the thing is too, like these uh, inferences that we have and these connections that we have and these epiphanies and revelations that we have on a personal level where that kind of like give us validation and alignment or at least some semblance of that. Those are very important, but I feel like that it needs to be mentioned that as if you listen to the story, I didn't mean to talk for 51 minutes, but um, there were so many people, souls, incarnated, so many that sent me messages that responded to the post that I was guided to put up, the silly post of the 911s and the blues and this and that. There is so much to be said for the universal energy that met me and is meeting me that came through the vehicles of the physical mirrors in this world. And my point is that it's no longer just the fact that we can connect or we hear from the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Syrians, etc. And there's nothing. I'm taking nothing away from that, but it's the soul in the human that's embodying, that's communicating to the physical mirrors of our lives that came to the forefront through this process, and that really, really invigorated me and comforted me. And I really feel like that this is an example of what we're all stepping into. However, it does require that we take those steps, and no harm, no foul. But that's just the way it is, right? Yeah, she's back. You're up now for a while.
Oh, thank you, Todd. Well, maybe I should start by saying what I said to you during the week that you weren't aware of, and maybe it will ripple into because you inspired me without even realizing it. You said something that was personal about you, but it impacted me in a way I was like, it hit me in my stomach. And all you said to me was, this was at the end of last year. You were like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I could stay here and keep doing what I'm doing, or I could go back and set up a studio and create music. And you were like, I don't know which way. And when you said that, I had this hit, and I was like, oh my God, I could sit at my house and do what I've been doing for years, or I could take the leap of faith and travel and move up north and start creating music because that's been on the back burner, and I haven't taken that leap. And as soon as you said that, I was like, right, I'm doing it. I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and do the same thing as I have done. And I took the beginning steps of that leap of faith last week, and the absolute incredible miracles and doors that just are opening in the most profound ways have started. So thank you, Todd, and I hope that that inspires other people to to feel into their lives of where they've been doing the repetitious same old and how they can take the leap of faith to. I got really emotional before we got on this call, before we got on this stream, because I was in the kitchen preparing because I was like, come on, I have my cacao and I have my cup of tea and then I've got my electrolytes and it's my little setup. And I was preparing and I was just standing in the kitchen. Now, mind you, there's a portal in my kitchen, there's a portal in my bathroom, and there's a couple of portals in my house. And so I often get a lot of intel, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I just started crying. And I was like, what's the tears for? Like, it was just this, like, it came from deep within me, like right in my chest. And I just let out this big, big surge of emotion. And I heard the words as I was releasing that. It was like, after 10 years, you finally get to walk into the life you've been waiting so patiently or working so hard towards. And it just hit me. I was like, yeah, for 10 years I had been getting the downloads of what I'm about to walk into. And as I express that, that's not just me, that's you, that's, I'm sure many of the people on here watching. We are moving into some really, really profound times. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We have to take those courageous leaps of faith to get to the other side, and it's not easy. And I know a lot of people are doing it hard, and I know there's trials and tribulations and challenges, and there's so much going on. But what's on the other side of that is beyond our wildest dreams and comprehension. So it's we just got to keep doing it. I don't know where you want to go, Todd. Like, I have thousands of stories.
You should keep going.
Like,
You should keep going. I talked for 51 minutes, for Christ's sake. Keep going.
do you want me to share about my trip to Brisbane? Because it wasn't as quite as epic as yours, but in 4 days, I probably topped 8 hours sleep when I
I think you
last
should.
weekend.
I think you should talk about it as best you can and as you're comfortable to. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I kind of know what you were getting into, and I know obviously some of the personal details. Those things that, just like with myself, because I could have said a lot of things on a personal level that I'm not going to, out of respect and out of just and I would just want to say that to people, because I've had people make quite a few comments and send me messages, and there's certain things that um, if somebody wants to share, or some bodies want to share, they'll share. Give them that respect, and stop asking, kind of thing. Like, we're all growing up, so yeah. But I think you should talk about it. You should start talking about it now. While I go take, I have to go to the restroom.
Yeah,
So
your break.
yeah, I gotta take a break. I'll be right back.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Todd. All right, well, where do I begin? Okay, well, last equinox was huge. It never did. March equinox never disappoints, because obviously we're starting from an astrological perspective the new year, but it's like, I feel we go through harmonic waves as we enter into a new year, but this was clearly entering into a new era, not just a new year. It was like this whole new frequency bandwidth that sort of came in towards the end of last year a little bit, and then it came through in January, more in February, and as it does, it rattles up all this stuff. But I digress. March equinox was an anchor or a pillar of light of that new harmonic convergence point and frequency. A lot of parallel timelines that are collapsing in regards to programs, off world and on world. And it was more the focus around equinox. I was told to go to Brisbane to hold an event to anchor in a portal of light. And so I did that. I organized on the Saturday, and thank you for everyone who attended. It was incredible frequencies, and everyone just poured their heart and soul into it. And I'm so grateful, because I'm looking forward to doing things differently. and traveling around and being able to connect more with people in person over the coming year and years to come. But what I didn't realize was as I landed, so I went up on the Friday and I came back on the Monday, and I had both very, very early morning flights. But what I wasn't prepared for was this has happened the last time, like back in November, and this time I woke up at 3 a.m. so I could catch a 6 a.m. flight, and I woke up and I had this sore throat, and I was like, oh God, I need my throat, I need my voice, I need, anyway, I just sort of powered on, and I was like, no, Alicia, just calm your mind, calm your energy. And when I got on the plane and I tuned in thinking I was going to do some energy clearing, actually, as I tuned in, there was this, oh, you'll like this, Doc. There was like this, almost this iridescent electricity of a sphere of energy that was like activating in my throat. And I was told, you're not sick. This is purely an activation, the next level of frequency that's coming through your voice. So when I landed in Brisbane, I was there for many, many reasons. I have someone who's very, very, very close to me, dear to my heart, and I go there to connect, but also it feels like it's a multi-dimensional operation in double agenting. And I've been working a lot on, helping people unravel from the inverted matrix or matrix pods. So the energetic control system that has got them into the denser pockets of reality that have them stuck. So the systems that have got them stuck in. And I was told this time, so every time I've gone there, I've had like, I'll go there and I'll, go grab a coffee, and it's all very kind of normal. But this time it was like, no, you're on mission. You bypass the shopping centers. If you need your coffee, get it, but you need to go directly to this point. And I was shown this grid point. And mind you, this is all like an industrial complex area. This is places where there's lots of facilities. It's a lot of places where you drive down and it's like, do not trespass. This is like private property areas I'm talking about. And I could feel what was happening above, but I could also feel what was happening below. And just to back the backstory, I think I might have mentioned a couple of chats ago, I talked about how the arachna spider beings are turning. So they've been like the guardians of the matrix that kind of keep everything stuck in. They weave that web that keeps everything locked in the inverted. Until I had this one come to me and I said, what do you want? And she said, I need you to help free me. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you're one of the only ones that can help me because you can see me. And I gave her this frequency that helped her unravel her inversion to break free of what she was doing. And it was a powerful thing. This happened about a month ago, and that's been sort of happening in the background slowly, but this adds to the story. So as I get there, I sit and I tune in to what's happening in the underground facilities, what's happening in where people's consciousness is being or has been utilized in other pocket realms, facilities, contracts. If you want to broad term this SSP, yeah, I would, in some ways. And I went in and I felt like I was doing this kind of energy work specifically for one person, but I knew it had a ripple effect. So it was like sometimes when there's a connection that I have, it's an in. And I went in, did the work that I did, but the interesting thing was as I went to go in, and this is through remote viewing, just I'm sitting in the park, but I'm remote viewing another version of myself going on this. I see the facility that I'm about to walk into, and there's this gigantic spider being that stands over guarding it, that is kind of the non-physical energetic guard of what takes place in that facility. And so as soon as I see it, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, not you again. Because keep in mind, Todd, like I was doing these type of missions 12 months ago that landed me in hospital, almost died from a spider bite dealing with these beings. So I have a little, a part of my my heart skips a beat when I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to fight you guys. Like, can we just? And as I approached, the spider being looked at me, and we made eye contact. And as I approached, it literally lifted a leg and said, "Pass through." And I went, "What? I didn't expect that." And they said, "Yeah, you helped our friend, and the frequency that you like the friend, the other spider being that came to me about a month ago, it said it went through the line, and now all the beings that have been utilized in this way, in let's say a negative way, are turning the script. They're turning the narrative. That's what. So those that were part of the system and keeping us entrapped are breaking free, and then no longer."
Doesn't that speak to each one of us, too?
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Doesn't it speak to each one of us? I mean, really. Like for me, it was reptilians, gargoyles, and
Yeah.
even today when I was able to sleep, um, and like early morning, went back to sleep, I was having all these lucid dreams, and I just remembered them as you were saying this, and there was a lot of reptilian presence and things that had quote unquote haunted me. We all have our ghosts, right? And but it was all
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
rectified. And so, like the spider that
Yes.
raised its leg and allowed you to come in, who
Mm-hmm.
the fuck really was that? Was that you? And so each one of us is a fucking spider and a reptilian. Each one of us has that aspect in us. And when we fight it and distance ourselves and divorce ourselves from parts of the universal, which are the parts that we don't like, the ugly parts that we don't like about ourselves, we're actually perpetuating the whole bullshit scenario. So
Mm.
these are, to me, like listening to what you just said is like, oh my God, that's it. That was,
Yeah.
now, was it based on some, you know, 3 or 4 millennia ago where you had an incident with these spider beings or not? It doesn't matter because you have experienced something, achieved something, however you want to put it, and you've gone through and crossed over
Mm.
another threshold. So this is the thing, right? I mean, I really feel like it's not out there. We're carrying it within ourselves. And as we come to terms with these demons and these ghosts and these beasts and these spiders and these reptilians, it's us. It frustrates me a little bit in these last 4 weeks as I'm diving into my work and I'm looking through social media for evidence and energy and patterns and seeing all this division and separatism and
Mm.
externalization and blame and oh my God, look what they're doing. Oh my God, look. Fuck that shit. What are you doing? What am I doing? How can we
Yeah.
rectify this? You know, this is not an easy equation. You can say, open your heart like Jesus, Buddha, whatever, whoever, Kuan Yin, Mary Magdalene. Yeah, I'm not being facetious. And people will
Mm.
say, oh, well, you can't just, that's fluffy love and light. No, it's not. No, it's not. You can't open your heart and just la 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 your way through it. You have to you
Mm.
have to get in touch with the greasiest, grimiest parts of it all, which is found within yourself. This is found within ourselves. And and that's really it. It's not anyone else, it's us. We have the key.
Mm.
And it's not because the golden beings live within us, because we found that. That's easy,
Mm.
right? That's like eating
Mm.
your favorite ice cream, but it's
Yeah.
it's like eating the shit. And we're getting to a point now where we understand nobody fed me that but me. And you can't really compute that unless you put the I got new glasses today after 6 months that are not scratched. That you know, we've processed and explained everything through the human eyes only. I'm having conversations with family members since I've been here, and I still hear little echoes, little ripples of, well, they did this and they did that. And I just want to grab them and say, who the fuck are you? What did you do? Because this is a conversation I had with myself. You know how hard it is to be taken through the grind and you know, like you're being, like, you know, when they tie a guy's hands in the Western movies and they tie it to a horse and they drag him through the fucking, you know, the prairie and the plains, and to be able to say, you know, to be able to get to a point and say truthfully, because you can't bullshit the universe, I created this. And it's not like, you know, a self-judgment or a self-deprecation. It's going, wow. How many of us have reached the point recently in the last year or so where we've gone, oh my God, that was perfection? That fucking narcissistic, you know, frequency, that exchange that I've had was perfection. Why? Because it brought me to this higher level of understanding. And look, awareness is the key now. Because we're at a point now where when the awareness comes in, the bullshit leaves. Now, the bullshit leaves here in the heart and the mind, right? The I am soul, it leaves. But if the pattern continues, then it just starts, the heat gets turned up. And a lot of people are experiencing that. And it's okay. It's okay to, how do you want to put this? It's okay to have been wrong. It's okay for whatever the fuck I did, you did, anyone did, up until right now. Because from this point forward, we can practice what we preach. And I just got to say this one more time, and I'm going to shut up. Why am I looking at this fucking skull? There's a crystal skull right here. I didn't even see it. But, like, what the fuck is that? I'm going to talk to my mother. But, you know, it's all us, and it's okay. But we can be born again, as the Christians say. We can awaken now. Let's use that term. So we can cross all religions, all philosophies. We can awaken now. And that means anything that happened right up to this point, even those things that you denied and we ran from and we ignored and we bottled up and stuffed inside ourselves, we can release it all right now. This is how close we are. We're not. This is all it takes. And I really feel that these mundane things that we do, these machinations of the human, these minimal, you know, these things that we've considered non-influential in terms of the multidimensionality, right? We've all been bypassing. We've all been bypassed. Oh, I'm connected to this, and I had a past life with this, and I can do this, and I can stand on my head and twirl around like a top. You know? But it's the human thoughts. How do I think about you? When these thoughts come in, which aren't even mine, and I think, oh my God, she's a bitch. Why did she do that to me? Why did he do that to me? No. I'm looking at me. I'm looking at me. That dog, that bird, that cat, that woman, that man, that child, that's me. My mother, my father. That's where I'd start. You know? Because from there, it's like a fucking avalanche. It's like a domino. You come into equilibrium with your mother. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care what your story is. And your father, it's like the biggest dominoes go, and everything goes from there. And the energy will support you now. So I think it is important to to continue to reveal the things that we know in our personal experience, like in your case, these incredible experiences you've had for so many years, like so many different people, like, most of all the sisters, because they were in that realm, which doesn't create a differentiation in terms of the masculine essence, because they were pulling from a different technology and intelligence, which was, we might call it organic, okay? But the point is to come down, what is that saying? They're down to earth. That person is down to earth. This is what the key is. The rite of passage is to accept this. It's Todd. I know it's Alisha. Accept this. Because this is not what we think. This is not what we think. This is actually a Merkabah. It's a physical Merkabah. And the only thing that keeps us from, and it won't anymore, keeps us from activating it is believing that, oh, I'm just Todd, you're just Alisha. We have these experiences. We talk about this. No, this is the Merkabah. This is a Merkabah that can go to Pluto, it can go to Uranus, it can go across the world, it can create things, but it's these, and I'm being facetious, it's these menial, trivial, mundane motions and machinations of the human that we by far underestimated. And there's no fallout anymore. If you are in alignment, and I have to believe it's people talk about the Heart Math Institute, the neural network and technology of the human heart in the physicality. That is the force. The force is the thoughts. We're in a quantum thought reality. I can say all the pretty words. I can send you roses. I can send you a gift. I can buy you a dinner. I can do this and do that. But the bottom line is, what am I thinking? What am I really thinking? And that is where we have dominion. We have dominion to say, the thought comes in. I had it today with a relative. This thought comes in, a judgment, and I said to myself, I got to go for a ride. I have to go for a drive. And I have to like, okay, why is this like prevalent here? Why? And I'm driving down the road going, Todd, what's the matter with you? Oh, I haven't slept. Well, that's not an excuse. Let's stay with this. Park the car, light a cigarette, go for a walk. What's going on here? And it wasn't even mine. And you know this more than most people. The skull to voice technology, the psytropic warfare, the implants.
It's real.
You fucking A, it's real. And we have judged each other based on the behavior that we've had and taken personal, when the bottom line is we've all been subjected to the same thing, and we can start to recognize this is not who and what we are. What we are is like you can say like, oh, we're love. We don't have to be love because we're love. You can say it so many ways, but the bottom line is we don't even know yet. The universe doesn't even know yet. It's going, how the hell, was it you that said this? How the hell, because one of the sisters said, I think it was you, they're looking at us going, how in the hell can they be doing this in the physical form that they're in? And we haven't even, we're like at, like if it's like, 10 notches, we're like at 1.5. But 2 and 3 are Merkabah trap, like remote viewing, teleportation. That's like kindergarten, what we can do here. Like bending time and space, like creating, like I think you said this too a couple of weeks ago. We're going through a process or an evolution or initiations or whatever, that on the other side of it, we're creating universes. This is no bullshit. We are literally, because of the fact that we've gone through the fire and are going through the fire, coming out on the other side without a charge, with no bullshit, with going, man, I just want to create more of this and put my spin on it and remix Kuan Yin and remix Magdalene, remix Jesus, remix my friend Alicia, remix my partner, remix my mother, father, myself, and create an even greater thing. Because that's what this is all about, you know? But this has been like mind blowing, epic saga kind of thing, even from a multiversal sense. You know, it really has. It really has. And we
Sure.
should be proud of ourselves, even if we still are doing work on ourselves to get to a point of equilibrium in terms of self-respect, self-love, self-appreciation. You know, really,
It's
we're the
it's a big deal what we're doing.
yeah.
It's a big
Thank
deal. We're wrapping up, not just, yeah, you said it before. This is the cycle within the cycle. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not coming back. This is my last rodeo. I'm going to make the most of it. I'll mic drop after this one, so you got to make it a good grand finale. But we're doing it because this creational field that is emerging is, well, it's never been understood, worked with, but we intrinsically, instinctively know how to weave and create from it. And then, therefore, that's what we create the new reality with. And that is expressed through so many different ways, but the creative frequency as it's come in through the fire horse and will continue. This is a universal creative renaissance that we're moving into, unlike any other. And that's what we should be getting excited about, because as the systems collapse and the crumble and the arachnas switch sides, you know, I've had a few encounters with them. I'm just in awe every day. Like, I was just like, really? But yeah, I, I I'm sort of lost for words in some regards, but the work that I've been doing in helping the dismantling of where the consciousness has been kept, that is now being released and now being accessible, that's where we can't stay in victim mode or the old stories anymore, because we're actually getting back. So there's two parts that I see this happening right now. One is that we're getting back the consciousness that was withheld from us, whether that be in pods or parallels or trauma related response, like wherever that is, we're now getting access back to. You good? Yeah. We're now getting that back. So I can see what it's doing to those that are unaware of that. It's creating a lot of energetic overwhelm and people having sort of panic attacks and sort of breakdowns, not realizing the level of what's happening on a multi-dimensional level. And it will stabilize, and I'm about to put out a whole heap of work to help people through this phase, those that are at that precipice. But the second thing is the responsibility that we have to start to work with a new frequency of what there is, I believe, a group of us that have the access to the new that can start creating with it. And that's what we need to focus on. We can't be distracted by, because there are 10 million things going on in the world, and there will continue to be 10 million things going on in the world. But that's not any of our business unless it directly impacts us and therefore we take care of it. But it's like what I'm witnessing, because of all the things that are happening, people just kind of get pulled into that loop of, what's Trump doing and what's the war doing and what's this doing and da 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 da. And yeah, okay, be informed, but that's just a loose farm in itself that's taking away from your co-creative effort that you could be creating something magic from. And it's like, if you realized, if all those people, including us, like I can be a victim to it sometimes, I'm not going to lie. But if we really truly know and understand our co-creative, like we're creative beings and the co-creative ability that we have, we wouldn't give our power away to that shit. We've done it for far too long, and now is not the time to be focused on that. So
yeah,
Brisbane was a whole nother level. I'm not gonna lie.
Talk about it. Talk about it. But I think what you're saying. I just want to say this real quick. I feel what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Look, the days, and I know this is a hard pill to swallow, but it's not as hard as it used to be. But the days of the fucking days, the nights, the dark nights of the soul, of us blaming our disempowerment on anything or anyone are fucking over. They're over. Get over it. It's not your ex-spouse. It's not the narcissist. It's not your mother. It's not your father. It's not your brother. It's not your sister. It's not your job. It's not your country. It's not your religion. It's over. That in itself is it. Like, that's one way to say it is it doesn't matter. Like, think of Nelson Mandela, being in a South African prison during extremely discriminatory periods, right? What was it, 27 years the man was there? If you read his book, he talks about the garden that he had, that he was able to create and maintain this garden. That was his way of saying, I'm a fucking soul. You cannot take my soul. And he found the universal frequency, his Merkaba, his portal in this garden, right? It's the same for all of us. And the bullshit, the universe has come and said, the bullshit's over. You cannot point outwards anymore. You can't look for love out there. You can't look for hate out there. You can't blame out there. It's all us. And this is not fluffy love and light now. We can actually do this, and we're doing it. But the last thing I want to say is that it's a different communication. It's a different methodology, and it doesn't take the rationale. It doesn't take the explanation, the essays, the dissertations, even the modalities are going to go. It's creation. It's creation. It's like you wake up in the morning, how am I going to get myself out of this fucking hole? I am going to create something. I'm going to grab this pen. I've never been able to write pretty. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper. I'm gonna just start making something, and the next thing you know, I end up with a fucking crystal skull that came out of nowhere. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Seriously, it's like the universe is sitting there going, you know what I mean? Like, turn your light on. No one can stop you from that. No one stopped him from making that garden. No one's stopping you and stop you from making Cosmic Gateway. No one stopped you from going to Brisbane. No one stopped you from honoring the connection that was a huge part of you going there. And now look what happens. Now you have 4, 5, 6 other playmates, and you're in this field of creativity. Do you know what's going to happen? Hell no. Does it make any sense? Hell the fuck no. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like my little story for 51 minutes at the beginning of the show. I didn't know from one step to the other. I didn't know. I had no fucking idea. I didn't. But what do? It's like my friend Hung said, you have this path of what she calls the path of fate, which just means that whatever happens, I'm okay with, right? Which is another way of what we talk about, surrender. Well, I think it's beyond surrendering. You let go. You let go and you step forth in faith and in confidence with yourself. And part of that is admitting that you're scared, admitting that you're nervous. And, there's a lot to be said for sharing that. Not just sharing that, hey, I was wrong. Hey, I had my doubts. Hey, I said something I shouldn't have, or I did something I shouldn't have. Because this is the whole point. The whole point is everything right up. Where's the past? The past isn't real. It's not. Why is it not real? Because it's not here. Unless you want to bring it with you, and then we're back where we started, right? So this is what's so cool about it. That's the one thing in the Bible, and I've never read the Bible, but it's the one thing that always resonated with me was the term born again. Not the way, go down to revival and give yourself to Jesus. No, not that. I'm talking about you can wake up tomorrow. I'll give you one example. I know a lady in Canada that I met years ago, 10 years ago. Haven't talked to her in 10 years. But we came together. She was a heroin addict. Okay? Big time. She woke up one day and said, I'm done. That was it. So all of the baggage and all of the attachment to what she had been was gone. And to me, that speaks to what I'm trying to say. Whatever has happened, whatever's gone on, it's back there. And I was told that in September the 11th of, the 9th of November. Is it the 9th of November? Doesn't matter. It was the 9th of November, I think. It was a 9/11 day. I was told, 2023. I woke up that day, literally woke up that day, and they said, it's all behind you now. Everything. It's behind you now. You don't have to look back anymore. And like everything, it takes a while for it to set in, but that's the way it is. We can't change anything that's happened. We can't. It's fruitless. So what do we have from what happened? We have the experience, the information that we were given as a result of it. If we can look at it as we look at it, without attachment, without a charge, without judgment, and we gain from it. But we've not been able to gain from it in the situations when we haven't been able to let go. Look, we're not losing anything when we let go. We're actually like Job in the Bible, which is what I was told when I made my, whenever that happened to me in 2011, and I was told Job, like, what the fuck is Job? I heard Job, the patience of Job, that's all I knew. But when I read the story, his faith, he was the most faithful person to God in the Bible. Like, this is metaphor. The devil came to God and said, if you take away his riches, you take away his family, you take away everything, he won't be faithful. So Job lost his family, he lost his fortune, he lost everything. He was broke, he sat under a tree, he got boils all over his body, and he still said, with all due respect and love for everything God makes, fuck you, devil, I'm still 100% faith. And as they told me in 2011, you're going to get everything back a millionfold. And I don't believe that was a message for Todd. I believe that was a message for all of us. Right?
Yeah. Thank you. You reminded me. I think I got something similar around 2013, 2023. And I feel that brewing upon the horizon. I don't know how it's going to look, but it feels the shift in currency, financial abundance, that feels like it's brewing. I don't know what the specific details of the unraveling or unfolding look like, but that's very loud undercurrents. And I do believe that we have everything that we need, no matter what. I mean, you're living proof of that. I am. Like, I was explaining to a soul sister of mine, I was like, 10 years and I've been living flying by the seat of my pants, basically. 10 years before that, I had a comfortable job and regular income and savings. That kind of goes out the window, doesn't it, when you answer the call to your soul. But you wouldn't do it any other way. But I do believe that we are able to move into these times much more gracefully and have what we need because we're in this conscious creator mode moving forward. And I think Brisbane really was next level. It kicked off energetically, it kicked off so much more than just what was experienced on the surface. And what was experienced on the surface was pretty spectacular itself. But I could feel the potent energetics of what was being established in its pure conception and how it's just going to continue to unravel. So you're back in the States doing your thing. I get pulled up there to do this pillar of light activation, soul immersion, which was incredible. I meet with my friends up there who are artists, they're creators, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing, right? We need to like pull a meeting." And I'm like, "What?" So I get taken to this hotel. I didn't tell you this. I get taken to this hotel the first night. So I haven't slept. I've been up since 3 a.m. It's like 8, 9 o'clock. I'm like, I really want to go to sleep, but I'm just going to power on. And it's like, well, it's in the downtown area. It's, but there's this hotel, and right up the top, there's this like museum dedicated to my friend's late husband who worked with, what I could say, music royalty, talking about like the John Lennons of the world, Stevie Wonders, like Aretha Franklin's. It's like a whole museum, a tribute to his work in humanitarians. He had this vision that you and I hold about how music can change the world and the creation of that, and he'd been doing it throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. He since passed on in 2017, but I got to see the body of work that this man had done in close detail, and I was just like, the stories that came with it about how he tried to implement black music, like Stevie Wonder, into Australia when it was very racist, and how they had this lifelong bond of how he met up with him later, before he passed, and he thanked him, and I just felt the energy and vibration of how things have changed, and now we're on this precipice of changing once more. And so I go back after we'd had this meeting. It was like a group of us we all have this vision and we all have different roles to play, and throwing ideas around. And like, I go home and I'd thrown out the question. I was like, had anyone asked like the husband, the one who passed, how he wants things to move forward with his body of work? Because there's so much there. Like, it's basically a document of music history. And they all just kind of looked at me, and I was like, well, I think someone should ask him like how he wants it delivered, because it's his work. So I got home that night and I lay down to finally get some sleep after being up for almost 24 hours, right? And my head hits the pillow, and then the entourage was what I call it, him and all his friends and all these musicians who've crossed the veil come in and start talking to me. So all night I'm lying there. I didn't get any sleep. I just get all these downloads of like, okay, and then do this, and then this frequency, and then this sound. I'm not a musician, Todd, but I understand music in a whole new level now after that night. I'm not the same person. I'm not the same person. So the next day I get up, I get prepared. So I had the event on in the evening, but I had a event on in the park for two soul sisters who I'd collaborated with, and our vision is around the new children. So I got to facilitate in this beautiful park, and we went through the whole process. And then later that night, I had the group in this place called the Soul Space. It was incredible, and online. And as I started to prepare to take people, and I've been doing this for years, like once a month, I do a soul transmission, take everyone on this journey of attunement. And it's, I love what I do, but this was totally different. I was struggling. Well, I felt unwell. My body felt physically unwell. I'm being told, no, you're upgrading, you're upgrading. I opened my mouth to start the transmission, and it was a frequency that came out of my mouth that I've never heard sound in my voice ever do before. It reverberated the entire room. I could feel it. It was not just sound, it was a frequency that I'd been upgraded to. The event went for 2 hours, and as soon as I finished and closed the door, locked up, my voice just stopped. No voice. Just completely, like, that was it. Um, and so I not only was I doing this sort of double agent mission work in the underground facilities, and that was ongoing. I was also anchoring all these pillars of light. So I'm like kind of working the grids in both areas, retrospect, to find that unity essentially. And then I went back for this visit, which I think I spoke about last time, where I went into some dingy, dark places of density with my soul brothers, and we just weaved some light in some of the darkest places, and we did that again, in the only, in the most profound ways. And I came away from that experience with, as I mentioned, 8 hours sleep over 4 days. Like, I was like, but it was just the pure frequency. I barely ate. I just drank fluids and sat in saunas and just tried to prepare. As I left, I had to get on another, like, I had to get up again at 3 a.m. to catch a 6 a.m. flight on the way home back to Melbourne. And I'm sitting on the plane, and next thing, now I had mentioned to you how I had this new reality experience a couple of years ago, and I haven't really, I basically spent 6 months living in a whole different reality, which I feel like is now merging and integrating and coming back online. For those of us who've gone through, like, your seizures, people who've gone through an extreme upgrade or frequency recalibration, we're now hitting that octave. And I feel like that weekend, the energy kind of surged, and it was a lot of energetic merging happening of golden frequencies. It's the only way I can describe it. But while I was on the plane, all of a sudden it hit me again. I was like, oh my God, I'm back in that reality. And it just switched on, just like, but it from within me. And I was like, and I was once again getting all the downloads of the geometry patterns that create sound and frequency and music and all that. I was seeing how the beloved, or the counterpart frequency, the divine soul union energy that has a very specific color, the unity grids were starting to be rewired. And it was like, I felt like I was going into the earth and then around the earth, and it was just spinning this frequency. And then I saw the timeline open back to reconnect to what I'd seen when I had that walk-in 2 years ago. And I heard, as we landed back in Melbourne, you've now anchored the timeline. Now just walk through. And I came home, and I have a beautiful soul sister now living with me. And I walked in, she looked at me, and I was like, okay, I have no voice. I have no voice. I have one day of rest before I get back to work. But I just said to her, I'm back in that frequency. And we just had this whole day. It was infectious because I came home, and then next thing she's in it, and we're like giggling and laughing, and it's like the frequency just went supercharged. And I'm in that space sort of. And then I was like, oh, I'll wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be integration. It's going to go from up here, and it's going to just plummet to like deep dive clearing, which it did. And I had a few rocky days in this past week, but it's starting to balance out. And I mean, all I can gather is what those of us that are getting the creative shares of what we're starting to step into, to work with, to create, is that that quote about the future, you know how you said the modalities are dropping and changing. What I see now, and I've seen it for many years, but I can see it now coming into actual physicality, actuality, is the future of medicine is sound, frequency, and vibration, or light. And what we're doing in our creations, you over there, me here, everyone else who's in their creator mode, in whatever that looks like, we're creating the future of medicine for the general population as we move through this. I've said this before. There's a group that will walk through the door as of now that create the pathway. And I believe that by the time we get into the next March of next year, we won't recognize this planet.
Seems to be the expanding consensus from this Easter to next Easter. But to what you said real quick about, and who was it? Einstein, I think, is the one that said in the future, medicine will be frequency, vibration, resonance, something like that. Life is a metaphor, and if you think about that statement, what you just said is the same thing. It's not about so-and-so sick, bring him or her here, let's apply the frequency, let's apply it and heal them. It's about the fact that you're probably on it, like a year from now. Like, there is no such thing as healing. It's the crux of that statement that he made, that you're making, is this is our natural nature. And then also what you said about your sister that's living with you when you came back, it's contagious. It is.
So contagious.
That's really what's happening. So as people witness, because that's key. In I don't know about you, but like dimensional episodes, psychic phenomena, there's this witnessing factor. You're witnessing, or someone's witnessing you, right? Something's witnessing you. So the more that we step out and go to Brisbane and cross the border as an outlaw, or whatever the stuff that we do, the more people that witness that, the more the contagion, and the more it will occur. There is a physical aspect to this that is the kicker, right? Like you and I, and whoever, we could all sit around, and we've done it, and talk about this stuff, and talk about our past life memories, and talk about our skills and abilities and sensitivities, but there's something about laying it all to the side and saying, I'm stepping this direction. Like, I know your personal, story behind Brisbane, behind other trips to Brisbane, and so many, and it's not a singular thing, because there's other people involved, including the people that you talked about when you went to Brisbane, that congregated together and coalesced and started this whole thing, this other thing in motion, this communal thing, right? This mutual thing, where two or more gather, right? Like, this is what we're being asked to do, and it makes sense, because we got here by going through it in this dense form. The pain, the suffering, the human, the galactic, the element, all of it was done through this human thing, right? Just like that story I love about you with the mantids, right? That was a human thing. Yeah, you're connected with them up there, and they get you, and that's why they come and talk to you, and that's why they work through you, like Franco and like so many people, right? But it was the human part that moved the ball upfield. Because they even said, as highly intelligent as they are, I didn't think about that. Well, yeah, You know, we're the boots on the
Yeah.
ground. We have code that you don't have. So, and the other thing I love about what you're talking about with your experience in Brisbane is the code is coming through the physical mirror. And
Yeah.
not only is it coming through, let's say, a counterpart, it's coming through multiple, right? And I'm not saying there is or isn't a counterpart. What I'm saying is that there is multiple souls involved. There's multiple mirrors mirroring back to you. There's a multi-dimensional that's mirroring back to you. It's not a singular thing. There might be a counterpart, very well must be, because the one had to split into two, therefore there was a pair. There's no other way, right? So, but because of the frequency, because of the tuning fork aspect, and because of the work we've done internally, eternally, we have activated this unseen grid, if you will. And so how is it going to come into form? It's not going to be us walking down the street. Oh, my God, look, there's the blue highway. Look at all the new grids and meridians. No, it's going to come through these very human discussions, these removing the veil between ourselves, between each other. Yeah, and look at the contrasts that we have. Look at the paradox. Look at the polarity that we have if we look at the world stage, with the gaslighting, with the irrational, and look, the wars, the different topics of debate that are creating an apparent polarization and differential between people, and that's a smokescreen. So I just would say that what you describe about your trip, to me, the most salient point isn't just about what at the core took you there, because it was you, but it was also involving a mirror, right? But it was what you were met with and what you engaged with. And I can relate, no sleep. No, you know what I mean? So it's like because it's like there's something different operating here, and I knew that, and really was okay with it in my own case as an example until today, when I woke up with this massive headache. I thought, oh man, your body's really taking a fucking beating here, So, but yeah, I mean, there's no way I could have done that 5 years ago. There's no way. I mean, mentally, emotionally, as much as I do crazy stuff and have done crazy stuff, that was a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, I was met by this. I put up a post. I get on a bus and I say, "Oh, I'm what's this with the 9/11 thing?" And all of a sudden, 500 people are like, and go, Todd, go. Like, how do they even know I'm going? You know what I mean? Like, how do they? They're like, something else is getting across to people from our thoughts and our actions and our intention. It's getting across to people, and they're hearing it. That's what blew me away. That blew me away was like, wow, and a lot of these people, I'm really good with names and faces, and but I don't know these people. Like, I don't know these people. And they're like, giving me these testimonies and telling me, like, attaboy and good job and thank you. And I'm like, whoa, like, okay, I'm not crazy, I'm not crazy. and so, but yeah, I really feel like that the creative part of it yes, there is something to be said about this music thing, because too many people I know, including you, have downloaded it. You can see it happening, right? You can feel it. It's removing conversation, let's say typical old paradigm conversations. And so as an alternative to looking for the shit and looking for the original trauma, and now that served its purpose, don't get me wrong, but that shit's gone now. It's passé. It's like an old, it's no longer needed. It's no longer necessary, right? And And why? Because there's a greater alternative, which is let's meet and let's create something. And let that shit go, homie, because when this pure intentional communal creative expression is emitted, it just like rains golden particles. And these
Doesn't
things, you know what I
literally.
mean? Like these, yeah, right. And these things that are still, like laying around in the minutia of our old life, just get hit with the particles and they just transform. We don't have to beat our head against the wall anymore. We don't have to beat a dead
Mm,
horse anymore. I mean, it's time to move on. It's the next
mm,
phase, and
mm.
it's like mind blowing. It's really mind
Yeah.
blowing because it doesn't operate the way it used to. It's not like one step, two step. It's not like that. You know what I mean? It's like boom, boom,
Mm,
boom,
mm, mm.
and it takes. Well, it's apparent that we can't. It's a different definition to me of spiritual bypass. We can't just say it anymore. We can't. Like I will say to you honestly, I've had my fill in the last few weeks. I've had my fill of, and this is my problem, right? This is not about what I'm about to say or anyone that I'm referring to. But I've had my fill of the egoic. I've had my feel of the Lightworker Starseed plasticity. I'm having a event and there's a picture of 50 people on a meme. They're all going to speak, and now this is not. I'm not throwing shit at them. I'm throwing it at myself in a way, right? Because I understand that's not where I want to go. I understand that that's not something I can live with anymore. What
Mm.
can I live with? Wake up on a Saturday morning and go, I'm leaving. Wait a minute. You don't have any money. How are you going to leave? Like you don't have a passport. How are you going to leave? What if? No, I'm leaving. And if I end up in a Mexican jail, if I end up in American jail, or whatever, so be it. I'm a soul. And when you tell the universe, I am soul, I'm not afraid to die. I haven't paid taxes in the United States of America since 1999. Fuck you, I love you. Thank you for being my antagonist and my catalyst. But I was moved by my soul not to do that, and that was 12 years before I technically reawoke. So we all
Yeah,
have
wow.
these stories. Yeah, imagine that. Being an
Yeah.
executive with Home Depot, making over 100 grand and not filing for the last 4 years I was with them. Right?
Damn.
You know what I mean? And then 3 or 4 years later, being on welfare, and 3 or 4 years later, being homeless. These are the stories that we have. It's no longer about so and so did this to me, and so did this to me, and this is my story. No more. No, it's
Mm,
like like I say, like they told me in 2011. Circumstances and consequences are the same damn thing. Doesn't matter how you got here. It matters where you are and where you're going. You know what I mean?
mm.
But the great thing about this, as opposed to 2012, is now we're going with each other,
Yeah.
and that's all she wrote. As we catch on to it, and the magic shows itself. Look, your story about this music thing, and I don't know if people understand this, but she's telling me what 2 months ago. She told the stories on the shows and on Cosmic Gateway about the Michael Jackson glove, about these other
Oh,
things,
hang
right?
on.
You know
Hold
what
on.
I mean?
I'm gonna pause you right there. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pause you right there. My soul sister who's staying with me right now comes home last week. She's like, I just went to the op shop to buy a handbag because you're going and I need a bag to, look after your dog and carry all the things. And she comes home, she's like, I got something for you. I went, what? I'm not an op shop person, but she loves it. She's like, no, I got some. I bought this bag and I couldn't open it. I'm opening it. I finally open it and look what falls out.
Yeah, Michael Jackson glove. And see the synchronicities. See the synchronicities. See, this is the thing, and I've seen these people writing about this even today. Uh,
Mhm.
about their essentially their hearts are opening. Our hearts are opening.
Yeah.
So our hearts are opening. The synchronicities are becoming more frequent. The epiphanies, the intuition, the telepathy. You know, but my point is that was an example of what that was exactly the example I was going into, and I'm happy that you interjected because it's just more proof. So I've known you a long time, like going back to 2019. We've done a lot of work together, and we're talking a couple of 2 3 months ago, and you're telling me on the show, actually, you're telling me about how you had the Michael Jackson episodes and how you've been downloaded and you don't know anything about music. You don't play, you don't sing, you don't write music. You know that you're going to be involved with this new genre. And I said, "Are you serious?" I was told in 2012 the same exact thing, right?
Mm.
And then other pieces come in. Yeah, so
Mm.
it's like
Well,
you know how it is
I
in.
will share.
Go
I'll
ahead.
share this last bit. The event that I had. So I shared on the show last year how I had this dream of hosting an in-person event, and then at the end, a guy came to me and handed me a set of keys. And then I told my partner at the time, he's like, "Would you recognize this guy?" And he sent me a photo. I'm like, "Yeah, that's the guy. Oh my god!" Like, and then I met him. So to bring it full circle, the person who I dreamt about years prior to meeting, who had this connection, was at the event on Saturday. And as I went to start, I look around the room and I look at all these people who have these amazing musical connections. So this soul brother of mine in particular was close with Michael, who worked with Michael, who worked with the whole family.
Michael Jackson.
Um, Michael, yeah. Um, and when I finally met him in person, told him the downloads, he smiled at me and he said, "Yeah, Michael told me too." He said, "Now that we've met, it's going to happen." Now, this was a couple of years ago. Now, my dream came full circle last weekend because I was hosting that soul immersion. I look around the room and he's sitting there just like he was in the dream I had in 2020. And I was like, holy shit, it's really happening now.
I
Like,
hope everybody
you
got
come.
that. I hope everybody got that. I think they did. I mean, like that's weird too because I've noticed during this period, I'm having a hard time remembering, but so Tuesday through today's Saturday here, there were so there. I don't want to get carried away. There were I don't know the exact number, 4 or 5 incidents that occurred where it was not a deja vu. It was like a super deja vu. Like I literally told 2 people, I said, "I've already had this. We've already done this before." And they were both strangers, that we had clicked. We're just talking or whatever. So yeah, we're
We're
on it.
doing it.
We're definitely on it. There's no question. And I really feel like it does benefit us just to kind of like do what we've done for 2 hours and 8 minutes here, but is like just whatever Look, neither one of it, and I'm not saying this because it's us. I'm trying to point to a level or a new way or a new way of communication. It's telepathy. It's whatever, all that.
Mm,
There's no agenda here.
mm,
There's just this convergence of receiving, sharing, giving.
mm,
There's no taking, right? There's no over giving. This is this is something that we've touched on at most of the time, in my opinion, in the past, has been in spontaneous interludes, be it two people that just
Yes,
kind of
correct.
like hit click, or a group that clicks at a slumber party, or musicians at a improv session, or but now this is really gaining traction. That's why I say, I've had my feel in the last few weeks, because I'm looking for material, looking for vibes, and I'm seeing the same thing. I'm going, fuck, man. This is like, and again, I'm taking responsibility. This is kind of pissing me off. Like, I put up a post. What did I put the post up that it was a little bit, people like came back at me, but it was about, anyway, I can't remember at this time. I'm not going to look it up. But it's just like, my soul or my team or my monad told me in 2011, whatever you do, don't do anything you've done before. And that's the only way I
Correct.
can really explain it.
And different.
So does it
Yeah.
make sense, like I put up this old video right before all this shit went down, because I've been guided to, as the memories come up, to like grab that video and share it now, because people will pick up on it that didn't see it back then. This is fucking like 10 years old, 11 years old. And it's this video where I'm playing this blues music, and I just start talking about, part of it was I was talking about how this music came from the old plantations, and how they all went to church on Sunday to worship a god, so to speak, that they were handed 100 years before, after they'd been enslaved and their religion was taken away from them, and they were handed a new book. And here they are 100 years later, basically brainwashed. But that they still went to church, and that was sincere, and they got a lot out of it. But on Friday and Saturday night at the shindig, they got more. That was soul. They got more out of it. It was, letting your hair down. It was just, you know what I mean? So it's the same type of thing, and I think we've been so, like a dog. You ever meet a dog that that's all I can think of. Is like where you meet a dog that's been beaten, and you walk in the room, and it's like over in the corner, like it's like you like move to go pet it, and it's like this, it's skittish, trauma, and all of us can relate to that. All of us have PTSD, right? So. But now, like, we're entering this space, and I don't know if you can use the word trust, but someone's got to start it in order for that contagion to start taking off. And I've watched over the years in Soulogy, in a different way back in the day, right? You know what I mean? Like people would start picking up a microphone, and Mick Rogers in Adelaide would be singing in the shower and driving down the road doing Elvis, and and I still see ripples of it. But that's what I'm talking about. It's when people can actually just get past the point of embarrassment, would be one way to say it. Past the point of shame would be another way to say it. And no judgment, just fuck it. like so what, Like it's almost like, what that old survey they did with palliative care, the nurses, and they interviewed people for like 5 years that were dying, and they said, like, what would you do different? And the number one answer was, I would do what I want. Essentially that's what they were saying. I wouldn't just confine myself because of what people would think. I would do what I want. And that's what the universe wants. That's the highest praise. Obviously, there's qualifiers in the sense of, no harm, no foul, no interference. I mean, the basic universal principles, understanding what goes around comes around. But to be ourselves. And to me, that's where this whole music thing is headed. Because, and here's the thing, too, like with your story, and this is crazy too, because in the 2 weeks that led up to my recent events, I had 10 days, 14 days of dreams, and the lucid dreams, and they were all involving people that were transitioned and people that were here equally. Half gone, half here. You know what I mean? And so your story is very similar, right? And here's a guy saying, well, Michael told me this already. Michael Jackson already told me that this was coming. Like, it reminds me of that saying,
And
where who am I that God would know my name?
yeah,
Like, so Alisha Brache
you know,
is telling everyone that Michael Jackson left a white glove in her house years ago, many times. And now somebody brings her a white glove. And now this guy that she met this past weekend, who she was told was going to be there, who's there. And then the vision she saw years ago, he's there in the corner of the room at the same time. Come on now.
and you know what, Todd? It gets better because a couple of years ago I was working on a project, and it was very much led through my guidance, through my connection with Michael. And I was trying to get hold of this friend of mine to be a part of it. And I couldn't get hold of him. I tried to call him for days and his phone was off. Now this is the guy who personally knew Michael. He toured with him back in the 90s. And anyway, and he's also quite tapped in like us. So it's like he bridges both worlds, the entertainment world that he's worked in for so long. And mind you, the very first concert he ever toured in Australia was the one I went to and had an amazing experience of backstage and met all the like. There's these interwoven threads I've had with this soul brother of mine for over 20 years. Anyway, I call him. I'm trying to call him. Trying to call him. He's not answering his phone. Eventually, he messages me and he's like, I've been out of range. I'm away. What the fuck's going on, Alicia?" He's like, "Michael came to me in a dream last night, said that you were trying to contact me because you had to tell me some things." And that's exactly what was happening. So he, out of all these years, had never had a dream. Michael had never come to him in a dream quite like that. And that's what was happening. So these are these interwoven threads of the dream space, the so-called non-physical, physical. Like I've had dreams all week of people who've seemingly passed, but I believe they're in a different bandwidth of reality that we're having much greater connectivity with in this new frequency. So it's exciting times, but it's profound, and coming back to what you said, we have to go at it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Each, yeah,
Yeah, you have to take the initiative. Yeah, I mean, you
yeah,
have to. I mean, in order for it to progress and expand, initiative has to be taken. And and the
yeah,
and the and the last thing, the very last thing I want to say is like what you just said.
mm,
There is, you can say like everything's upside down, right? Well,
mm,
take for instance the entertainment industry, like the industry, the music industry, like that Michael Jackson is in. All right.
mm,
If I look at, and I love music since I'm a little kid, thanks to my big brother. Okay. If I look at, with everything I know now, all the fuckery and all the programming and all the psyops, there is a small percentage of true soul
mm, mm,
vibration and frequency. Michael Jackson, I would say,
mm.
is definitely. Prince is another one. Like there are
Prince.
some, right?
Mm,
Most of them are not what they seem, and that's starting to come out. By the same
mm,
token, the little people, the Alicias, right? These little people that have no visibility or awareness of their artistic efforts because maybe they haven't even been created yet. I don't know. But they're connected to these players, these right? So there is something to say for that. And I really
mm,
feel that part of what is unfolding here is the enormity of our own presence.
mm.
We've been suppressed, and
Yeah.
even that is now an excuse or victim consciousness.
Mm, mm,
We got nothing to lose. That's the whole point. Well, you know what? We got nothing to lose. Really, nothing to
mm,
lose. So,
mm.
so I can't believe we've gone 2 hours and 19 minutes and 19 seconds. But Anyway, I want to say thanks for showing up tonight. This is the first show I've had since I'm back in the States, and I'm gonna be in the new studio tomorrow. Hopefully, hopefully the next show tomorrow night with Raylene, it'll be in the new studio, even though it's not finished or anything. But yeah, I just want to say that here we go. The synchronicities, the timing. We didn't plan this. It just, I set this thing up in 30 minutes before we started, and you didn't know if we were going on. So I just want to say thanks for showing up, and thank everybody for showing up, on and sharing space with us and holding space. We're all in this together. So I just want to say thanks to you and everybody before we head out.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Well, I guess I'll see you in 2 weeks. There's a 66 and a 44 on the screen, and a 22. So I guess we're doing something right. But take care, get some rest, and I know I'm going to rest tonight. But yeah, I'll see you
Rest
later.
up well.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. All right,
Mwah.
thanks. Thank you. Bye-bye.